Tell me about the book. Why? What? Because you could tell from the book that you truly did used to have an imaginary friend, or do you still have your imaginary friend?
No, he's gone. He's not here anymore.
Okay, right.
But no, I during the pandemic, I just kind of started. I was looking at some pictures and all these like kind of memories from childhood started to flash, and I started writing these stories down. Partly because I just didn't want to forget them, and I wanted to be able to like talk to my kids about my grandparents or my aunts or uncles or funny stories that may have happened in my childhood. And then all of a sudden I just realized I was writing more than I had set out to write. And then it just became a book. And then from there, I just really started thinking about what role does imagination kind of play in our lives and in our childhoods? And then where does it go? And why do we kind of lose it? And then how do we get it back as adults?
And your childhood imaginary friend is named Mikey.
Mikey, yeah.
Okay.
He's kind of like Dwayne Wayne from Different World meets like Will Smith from The Fresh Prince.
Okay.
It's like if these two kind of came together. I wanted like an older brother. I wanted somebody cool who could like, show me the ropes and teach me how to be cool, I guess. And that's what he was.
No kidding.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Two good people to mash up
Two
right
good
there.
people, right?
Yeah.
He had the glasses and everything.
The glasses. The sneaker game was thorough.
Here we go. Put it right there. You take a look at the cover. He's right there over your shoulder on the cover. Right there.
With the flat top?
Yeah,
That's like me when I was a kid.
Yeah, because we all had the flat top. It was the haircut of the time.
My apologies. Is that Kid or Play who had it?
That was Kid.
That's Kid.
Yeah.
Okay, very good. Yeah, I'm on. Hair's not my forte.
But you knew one of them had it.
Yes, that I did.
He worked with Stu Scott, so he had to know these things.
That's true.
Stu Scott's in the book.
Is he really?
Yeah, man.
What about what?
I tell this story about how like I was gonna wake up. It was basically a nightmare, and I was gonna wake up and essentially like you guys were gonna be on in the morning doing a play-by-play of this horrible decision that I made, and it's basically just gonna be on replay on TV like over and over and over again, because there was some witty wordplay. I woke up every single morning. Like that was the first thing I did. Like
pop on SportsCenter.
Pop on SportsCenter every single morning.
How old are you?
42 now.
Okay.
Yeah, man.
Damn. Yeah. Wow. So, yeah, I by the way, I love hearing stories about Stuart, and how people used to just watch the two of us, because we were
amazing.
By the way, when you were watching it in the morning, Stuart and I were dead asleep in real life.
In real life?
Yes, we were asleep because we would walk off the set at 3:30, 4 in the morning.
Oh my God!
And so. Were you living on the East Coast?
I was in Tulsa, Oklahoma.
Okay,
so you were an hour behind.
An hour behind.
Yeah.
So, like, if you're watching the 8 a.m. Central Time re-air, okay, it's 9 in the morning Eastern Time.
Right.
We walked in the door of our respective houses at 4 in the morning. We were out, dead to the world, while you were waking up watching this, which is kind of.
Can I just ask you about that time? What was happening? Like, was it just? Because I think about that time. I actually talk about that time in the book a little bit, and how like all of a sudden, we now have 24-hour sports networks and news networks, and like there's this big boom in cable television, right? And, and ad subscriber television, and all of a sudden, like when I was a younger kid, there may have been a handful of channels, and then by the early 90s, late 80s, early 90s, there's this big boom, and so like you're getting all this like messaging now. I truly woke up every single morning and watched SportsCenter. All my friends did. It's what we did. I would literally starch my jeans and iron a crease. Did you guys wear Dickies? I used to starch my Dickies and like put a crease in my Dickies and literally be watching SportsCenter every single morning before I went to school. And it was religion. All my friends did it. Mm-hmm. But it felt like we were watching, for me anyway, it felt like I was watching two guys have the most fun on the planet with something they loved. Mm-hmm. It didn't feel like a job, although I was a kid, so it didn't feel like you were working. It felt like you were having so much fun.
Yes.
And just getting to create.
I can confirm that.
Like whatever, like the stuff that would come out of your guys' mouth, I was like, who says that about basketball? Like it was just crazy to like watch that as a kid.
We loved it.
And it felt like you were also talking to like me,
no kidding,
as a kid on the other side, because that's how we talked with our friends.
We were like two kids. Like Stuart, out of most anybody I've ever met, was a child inside of a man's body. Yeah. Right? Like he was absolutely, he had the youthful exuberance of somebody, who was your age watching it in a grown-ass man's body. Yeah. He really was just like that.
That's awesome.
And he was exactly the guy you saw on the air. And the two of us, we would just come together. it's funny that you said I was required to know who Kid and Play was because I was doing SportsCenter with Stuart. I probably learned who they were through Stuart, I shouldn't say that about Kid and Play. I definitely knew who they were. But there would be times where, he would make pop culture references and I would ask him, and he would kind of educate me on certain facets of pop culture with which I was unfamiliar. Yeah. And the two of us, and then I would bring that sort of stuff to the same table, and the two we'd just mash together.
It was magic.
And we had we would open up our schedules because it was a job, and there was management, and there was a schedule, and we would learn which nights we were doing SportsCenter kind of at the last minute, right on the outset of a month, and we would open up our schedules in 1996, 97, and see that we were doing SportsCenter together exclusively. I was doing it with him, he was doing it with me, and he came to me one day and he goes, "Are we a team?" And I'm like, "I don't know. Should we ask somebody around here?" He goes, "No, don't ask anybody. Don't ask." And then just to finish up the story, since you were curious about it, when Keith Olbermann left SportsCenter and Dan Patrick had a seat empty, and there was there was kind of an inside audition process going on. Right. Who gets to sit next to Dan, who would take Keith's gig, and I wanted it. And Stuart got really upset with me because we were a team. Yeah. And he goes, "We're just as big as those guys."
Bigger.
Well, I appreciate you saying that.
I mean, for me, bigger.
Right. So he was kind of pissed at me for, thinking about breaking us up when we're on the ascent. Right. We're young, and we're the ones who are, killing it in the mornings. So why would I want to leave that battlefield? Is what he basically was telling me. And I'm just glad that I had those 7 years with him.
It's amazing, man. It's interesting you say that he was like a big kid on the inside.
True,
because that's what it felt like. And I think it's part of what I also try to talk about in the book is how, as an adult, how do you have that same play, that same imagination, that same play, that same creativity? Mm-hmm. How do we find a way? That was a job. Mm-hmm. Again, to me as a kid, it didn't look like it, but for you, that was a job, and you guys were getting up and going to work every morning at crazy hours. But how do you find a way to still bring that out in your life today?
In a daily basis. Amongst all the
amongst all the chaos and the craziness and kids and work and all of those things. How do you find a way to bring that into your everyday life?
Catch the Rich Eisen Show every single day on the Roku channel, 12 to 3 Eastern, for free.